Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I'm the founder and now a partner of a fabulous 25-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and now Napa over the last 20 years, and in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspiring living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Welcome, everybody. Here we are. It's the last week in February already. Can you believe it? Man, this year is absolutely flying by. Well, I've got two special people for my podcast today. I've got Scott and Marla Berger of Addison Taylor Fine Jewelry, and they are going to share their story, which I think you will find very, very inspiring. So stay tuned and enjoy. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience, because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. All right, back in Phoenix. Just got back from Las Vegas and did a little gambling there, like one time, and won and got the hell out of there. But I'm back in Phoenix, and I've got two very, very special people who actually are in the same building I'm in. They used to be on the 6th floor. Now I understand they've ascended a little higher into heaven, and now they're on the 10th floor.
That is correct.
I've got Scott and Marla Berger here.
Mark, we are so honored and feel so blessed to be here with you today.
What a pleasure. Thank you for
this
having
is awesome.
us. This
Two
is
beautiful
fun.
people right out of the gate on the morning. And this has been a crazy morning for me, so it's like you're bringing this calmness that I've needed all morning today, so thank you.
We're just as blessed.
Well, these two are amazing artisans. They're with Addison Taylor Fine Jewelry on the 10th floor of our building at the AmTrust Center, right there by Neiman Marcus.
Yes.
Right?
Been there forever. It's our second home.
And you used to be on the 6th floor.
Correct, for 15 years.
Okay, wow. Yeah, so I still had you locked in on the 6th floor, but
It's
obviously,
all good.
like I said, you're moving up, so
We're
that's
moving
good.
up to heaven.
Moving on up.
Yeah, I love that song. The Jeffersons, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that really dates us.
I grew up with that.
Yeah, us too. So you've been there 15 years already, huh?
Well, actually, we have been in that building since middle of 93.
Since 93.
It's been a long journey, and talk about a blessed journey, and
That's
so
cool.
grateful.
Yeah, and so, I run into you guys, I run into you in the elevator or the parking garage, or, but I
Yes.
never get a chance to just spend some time with the two of you. And I know that's the hardest thing I find as life goes on, the faster it goes, too. It's like, God, I just want to spend some time with those people so I can get to know them, but it's passing ships in the night.
We agree, and there's only so much day in the time, but what Marla and I are finding is that the beautiful souls that keep coming into our lives
Right.
are happening for the right reasons.
Right. And I know Isabel and I spent a little time with the two of you in your store when we got our intention sticks. I don't know, it was like 3 years ago, maybe?
Wow. Is it 3 years?
Probably.
That was truly, talk about a miraculous story.
Yeah.
And no coincidences of how
that all came up.
Yeah, that was, again, that still makes every hair on my body stand up.
Well, we'll get into that story a little
Yes,
bit, because I want to hear your version. I'm going to see if mine jives with it, because that's the thing I've been learning from all my experiences, especially my trips. Everyone thinks we're on the same trip, because you're thinking everyone's seeing everything through your eyes, and nothing can be more further from the truth.
Right, it's all perception.
It's all perception. And we
Correct.
could all be on the same trip, but it's a totally different trip. Right? And life's the same thing, right?
100%.
Right.
It's being present, it's being in the now, and everything's perfect just as it is.
Yeah, totally. I love that. So tell us about your business. Tell what you guys are doing. I mean, you make some amazing pieces of jewelry, but
Oh.
I don't even scratch the surface of knowing what you guys do. So
Thank you. It's, you know, our passion, and started off in, which is really interesting, as a chef and in the cheesecake business. Marla and I, what is it, going back to 89, 90, we were called Scarla's Cheesecakes.
really,
And we were the first Brangelina, Scott and Marla, Scarla's.
oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
right.
cool.
This is,
yeah.
so I've been cooking and being a chef since I've been 17. We had a cheesecake recipe that Marla and I converted into over 30 different flavors, which we'll have to make you, because I know you're a foodie
Oh yeah.
like us.
Well, I'm just sitting here coveting this recipe, so it's like
if I tell you, I have to kill you.
okay.
But what was interesting, talking about the journey of the jewelry, I had family in Israel. We wanted to open up a United States market in the diamond business, and they didn't speak English very well. And they said, let's open up an office. And I'm like, okay. And that was 93. And that was the decision. Marla and I said, okay, cheesecakes or diamonds. And the diamonds were a little bit more lucrative, and went into diamonds.
Yeah.
And selling to dealers and stores.
Here locally?
Here in Arizona, selling to not just Arizona, but then nationwide. And then we branched out globally. And then, what is it? I don't even know how many years ago. 20 years ago, I had a friend say, I would love you to design my engagement ring. I saw your wife's. And I'm like, okay, come in at 5 o'clock. Came in, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Okay, next friend, I saw what you did for so-and-so.
So did you make it and you did the whole thing?
Yes, designed. I've always, since I've been a child, always sketched, drawing, painting, sculpting. That was always a passion of mine.
Yeah.
But in our generation, you don't go to school to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You're either business, doctor, lawyer. That
Yeah.
was our parents' generation. So
Right.
if I were to go back to school, I would have been an art major.
So you didn't go to college or anything?
I went to U of A.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went as a business major versus
Gotcha.
I would have loved to be an art major and
Yeah.
sculpting and painting, my passion, but
Right.
you just didn't do that then.
Yeah, and I
It's
still
not
don't
what your
think, I
parents-
still don't think you do that, to be honest with you.
Correct.
I think that's the big misnomer. That's kind of, we're being all sold a bill of goods on this college thing. Not everybody, but a lot of crafts. I don't think it's necessary.
Absolutely. We completely agree with you. That's what we're seeing, that most parents want their kids to live through them,
Right.
vicariously through them, of things that they didn't get to accomplish while they were growing.
Right.
Mhm.
No, I think if I was a young kid and wanted to be a jeweler, I'd go hang out with Scott,
Right.
you know, and just learn it firsthand.
Exactly. That's
know?
so it kept going. Like someone said, "Oh, come in at 5, come in at lunchtime," and it kept going and going and going. And Marla said, "Wow, I see how happy this is making
you.
you. You're beaming." And we took that leap of faith, just Marla and I, and said, "We're going to open up our own business privately, not because of private or whatever that have." No ego, just
Right.
something that we get this one-on-one
Right.
time, creating something together from love.
Yep.
And we just looked up and said, this is our leap of faith. This is what we should be doing. And basically in 2004, we opened up Addison Taylor Fine Jewelry in our building on
Wow.
the 8th floor.
So you've been moving around that building.
I am yes. We have been moving and bumping and grooving, put
That's
it that
cool.
way. So hence Addison Taylor opened.
Yeah.
And wow, the journey. But before we even opened the doors, Marla and I, even growing up since children, have always been about giving and charity. So before someone even came in, our, how do we say, intention
Mm-hmm.
was to help others.
Right.
So we gave and not worrying about what would come, but we
Right.
just put that trust out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how did you two meet?
Oh, that's a really good story.
Yeah, you're smart. You gave the mic to her, right? Yeah.
We actually were fixed up on a blind date.
Okay.
And again, we're aging us, but this is going back to no social media,
Yeah.
no Facebook,
Yep.
no Instagram. So we had no idea what the other one looked like.
So a true blind date.
True blind date. And my best friend at the time was taking a grad class with Scott at ASU, and she says, you have to meet this guy. And of course I said, well, you go out with him if he's that great. And but she said she would have it, but she was seeing someone at the time. So anyway, we went out on a blind date. I agreed to a Tuesday night because, of course, like I said, we didn't know what the other one looked like.
Well,
but
can you explain why on Tuesday?
Well, so it wouldn't mess up my weekend, really. But we went out, and Scott showed up at the door, and he showed up with, first he handed me one rose, and his hands were behind his back, and then showed me the 2 dozen that he had with him. So
good lead-in.
Yes. So totally swept me off my feet right away. We had incredible conversation that night, and we were actually married a year and 3 days after that first date because we went out on a Tuesday night. So
there you go.
Otherwise, it would have been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was what year now?
That was 89 that we met, and we got married in 90.
Okay.
So 29 years now.
Awesome. And you're from here too, Marla?
No, I'm actually from New Jersey,
You're from New Jersey.
South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia.
How'd you end up out here?
My oldest brother was at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs and was stationed out here. And then my younger brother was at ASU. So I came out, fell in love with it, and met Scott and never went back.
That's cool. And Scott, are you from here?
No, I'm originally from Michigan and left literally a February. I leave Michigan, 27 degrees, gray. They're de-icing the plane, coming to visit a friend in Tucson at U of A, spring break. Landed in Tucson, 75 degrees, bluest skies I've ever seen, friendliest people. I transferred next semester, and I never looked back.
My same story, virtually the same. I was going to school in Boulder, came down here spring break, walked down Palm Walk or Palm Lane or whatever you call it, and I'm like, this is it. I'm done.
You knew it.
Yeah.
Just puts you in such a beautiful, you wake up with just heaven. Truly.
All the time.
Yes. Grateful.
Even summer. I love the summer
Same.
as much. I mean, the mornings in the summer are awesome.
Yes.
So
it's a dry heat. Just the small animals catch on fire.
That's exactly right.
There's something to say about a sunny day every day, right? Waking up to a sunny day automatically puts that smile on your face.
Right. And even if it's a cloudy day, it's kind of neat because it's something different. It just breaks it up. It's like, oh, wow, clouds, rain.
For us, that's a change of season.
What's this stuff coming out of the sky?
That's so true.
Yeah, it's so cool. And you know it's not going to last. That's the good thing. So you just enjoy it. It's not going to last like 3 weeks like a northern, Oregon.
Or when it rains, you're like, oh, my goodness, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And truly nothing better than the smell of the desert afterwards,
rains. Right? Isn't that the best?
Truly, heaven.
Yep. So you guys fell in love, have a family. You have 4 kids, I understand.
Well,
2 boys and 2 girls.
Yes, she says I'm the first child.
Yes, you were saying that. we all know how that one works too.
Yes.
So you had a son first or daughter first?
2 boys first, 2 girls.
Oh, 2 boys and then 2 girls.
So Harrison's 25 in film, writing, directing. Justin just finished ASU in philosophy and ethics and going back for his master's. Addison, she's 19 at U of A, double majoring in psychology with minors in sociology, health, and sign language.
Wow.
And actually was told she can graduate this year as a sophomore, to give you an idea how focused she is.
That's good.
And then Jaden, our youngest, is 11 going on 30, running the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, totally. So, I mean, from your oldest to your youngest, now your youngest has been in the social media world, in the cell phone world, and what do you see as the difference?
Oh, wow.
It's a lot harder, isn't it?
It is. It is a lot harder, and especially when we're seeing what's going on with reality TV and these kids feeling a lot of pressure.
Compelled to stay up with that or be a part of that or live that way.
That's right. That's right. And it's interesting because even our oldest didn't have what she has, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because you probably see that with your
my
kids.
32-year-old, we didn't have their cell phones when they were kids.
No,
or high school.
And we
didn't have.
We were out till 11 o'clock at night when we were kids on bicycles, and our parents were like, "Okay,
see ya."
Right? No technology, just
no identification.
You would hear a voice from the distance, "Come home."
Totally remember that.
Different world today.
Totally different world.
But
I love the world we live in.
Absolutely,
we lived in.
Yes,
I would not trade that for their world at all.
No. 100%.
You know,
we were out. We were on the streets playing and
football,
climbing trees,
building forts.
Yes, making igloos, sledding. I mean, that was
drinking from our hoses.
Oh, yeah, hose bibs.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I remember being outside and us being thirsty and just
Yep.
going and turning on the hose.
No, and we had the milkman would bring fresh
Yeah,
milk
same.
every Tuesday.
Stop aging us, man.
Isn't that crazy? I know, it's world. Now we have what, Postmates that brings us our pizza? Or?
Yeah. Oh. We've become a very lazy.
Kinda, right?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all good.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, all right. So, tell me a little bit about the stuff you guys are making right now. I mean, you make some amazing pieces of art.
Oh.
I mean, they're really, truly art.
Thank you. And as it's Marla and I say, everything we do when we get to sit with someone, it's created from love because I'm inspired to, one, grateful that someone comes to me, as I know comes to you to design, but I get to feel their energy and what excites them and what they like from different visions, maybe of some things they've seen, and then truly create their one-of-a-kind piece, whether it's simple or it's a masterpiece.
Right.
And that's also why we've always been about private or appointment only, because it doesn't matter if someone wants to spend $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. I treat everyone the same, and I just never believed in that. And
It's about the experience.
Yes, and just to give you an idea, Harrison, one of his dear friends, wanted to get engaged. His budget was $650, which no one would have given him the time of day.
Right.
And I said, absolutely, and we picked out a little princess cut, a little white gold ring we designed, and it was, don't forget, that was all the money in the world to him.
Right. It's all relative.
Right. I took the same amount of time if he wanted to spend $6,500
Let's see
or
a billionaire put $1 billion on the table to have you design a piece of jewelry, right?
Absolutely. And sadly, this world comes from the ego and the judgment today, and we forget where we all started from.
Right.
We have to remember that. We have to be humble.
Yep.
And it's never about, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. That's such baloney.
Yeah. I always tell people, it's not about the sprint; it's about the marathon. Think long.
Yes.
That same $650 ring person someday might be the $1 billion. You don't know.
100%.
And that's not the reason you do it.
No.
But I'm just saying, I'm the same philosophy. I treat everybody, whether it's a client that's got billions or it's the stucco guy putting the stucco up on the wall.
Absolutely.
They're the same in my mind.
We are all the same, 100%. And so with our process, so we get inspired, we get to see what they love, we pick out the perfect stone, the design, and then, as you know, we do everything in CAD design, which technology now is incredible.
Yeah.
So they get to see what their piece looks before we even put it onto our 3D printer. We do our own casting, everything.
So when you do the 3D printer, you print it like in wax?
It's a resin wax. So we're in our third generation of 3D printing, and they get to be a part of the whole process. They get to see the wax. They get to see the CAD imaging. They get to see the raw casting, and then we set everything under all of the microscopes and lasers. So everything we do is built in-house. We do not give anything to anyone else, because that's
and all up there on the 10th floor.
All up on the 10th floor.
Exactly.
We're very incognito.
That's what blew me away when I came up there, because I thought, okay, this is his little sales place, and somewhere in China or whatever, they're making this stuff, and blah. No, it's all right there.
We need to take ownership of what we do. I don't want to say, well, it's not correct because they did that.
Right.
No, we did it. So every piece we create is special.
Right.
And it is one of a kind.
What I just got from all of that is you're not just selling a piece of jewelry, you're selling an experience.
Oh, completely.
Right?
The experience, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we get to, as Scott said, build a relationship with the beautiful people that we get to encounter,
right.
And we get to know what they're going through in their life. And we also have these beautiful people you bring pieces with them that maybe their grandmother gave them,
right,
or their mother gave them, and maybe it's not their fancy, so Scott will relook at it, redesign it, refabricate it, and turn it into something that they can wear.
Right.
But they still have something special, this momentum of this beautiful generation that they're carrying with them.
Right. See what I get out of that, and this is so great for me to hear this from the two of you, because I feel it and say it all the time, and I kind of think I'm crazy, but you've just confirmed what I've believed. You do jewelry, it takes a certain amount of time. We do houses, takes a long time. Mm-hmm. But you're not just selling the experience for them. You're creating the experience for yourself at the same time.
Absolutely.
And so it's a two-way experience is what I get out of it. You're getting as much from them besides the money,
Yes,
as the experience, right?
It's not about that. It's the experience
and the connection.
It's to us. It's family,
Yeah.
and it's. I look at as Marla looks at it's every piece we create is an heirloom piece. It's not like here you go, you're done. It's
Right.
like I said earlier, everything we do is created from love.
Right.
And if I don't like something, I'm not a yes person nor Marla, and I will share my opinion because it doesn't resonate with me. Why would I say, "Oh, that looks great on you"?
Right.
That's everywhere else in the world.
Right.
If you want it to be perfect, then I'll share my opinion and say, "Oh, it's going to look even better, or it's going to be more incredible." So we speak our truth.
Right. And the longer you are in this trade, in this craft, in this art, I mean, you just have a bigger database to draw upon, right?
Yes.
Because, I mean, I can't remember all the houses perfectly that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I was going through some pictures for my daughter. It's her birthday today, so I was digging through old files trying to find
Happy
pictures.
birthday.
And at the same point, I was finding old houses. Like, oh, God, I lost pictures of that house and this house. And there they are, So I think you remember all of them in your subconscious to some degree, don't you? Like
Absolutely.
every piece of jewelry is kind of locked in your brain.
100%. Because it's a part of us.
Right. So the
And-
older you go and the longer you go in this profession, you just have a bigger reservoir of creation to draw from, right?
Tens of thousands of pieces, and everyone is that special.
Right.
And it's just gratitude to look
Yeah.
back because we don't advertise.
Yeah.
There's no walk-in traffic. It's just our whole business has been, oh my goodness.
So it's totally word of mouth.
It's totally word of mouth, and all the different charities we've worked with over the years, and it's incredible that just the people come in and allow us to do these beautiful things for them.
Right. And so what's interesting about a podcast for me is and I've been tempted to film them or record them or whatever, film them. And I've really gotten away from wanting to do that now because what I've learned is people open up a lot more when they know they're not on film. We're just talking. And when you're filming them, they're
different.
They're different.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
So we can't show your pieces is what I was getting
Right.
at. I would love to be able to visually show some of your work, but obviously you can go
we
to
have
the
a website, of
and you
course.
can go. But
Absolutely.
I think, and I don't know if you guys do stuff like this, you probably do, I think it'd be fun to have like an evening at Addison Taylor and show people how you do it all. Not that it's proprietary
Right.
thing, but I know the day you took us through,
Yes.
I was blown away. I was so fascinated by the process.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
It's people really have not seen what takes place behind the scenes.
No.
They're like, I had no idea.
Oh, see, that's another reason I'd love for you to think about doing this, because on our Italy trip, we used to go to this little place called Candelaria where they make handmade painted ceramics, dishes, and dinnerware. And you'd walk into the showroom, first of all, and you'd look at the stuff under the jewelry case
Yes.
to make the metaphor here. And you'd look at a plate, and one plate was like $500 for a dinner plate. I'm like, what? Yeah, this is crazy. But then they'd give you the tour of how they made it from the raw clay and how Uncle Luigi would turn it into a piece of
one at a time,
a plate, and then Grandma would paint it, and you added up all the hours and the work that went into each piece. You walk out of there and you go, I'll take 6 of them. That thing is a bargain, right? And it's probably the same for you guys.
It is. It's so special, and like we said, just going through the process with everyone and knowing their story because it becomes a part of them.
Right.
Right. And so it is so special, and we feel so blessed to be able to give someone their story that they get to carry with them, and it's their energy.
Right.
Right.
It gets locked in.
It gets locked in, right? Because it becomes a piece of who they are.
Yeah. No, you guys are, like I said, you guys make me feel so good.
Oh,
because,
thank you.
Because we do the same thing. It's just our process is so much slower and
Well,
longer.
Of course.
But it's the same,
I won't share with you on the air now, but there's a piece that we just finished that literally took over 2 years to complete.
Okay, so you do have some pieces like that.
Yes, that is our opus.
Wow, that's incredible.
And
I'm getting shivers just hearing this.
It really is the only one in the world, and it could never be duplicated. And we'll share with you at a different time.
Yeah,
but
that's
that's the journey, and these.
So you have that perspective of the time factor.
Absolutely, because art, as you know, regardless of what medium it is that it takes time. You
Yeah.
cannot rush perfection.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. So what inspires you too? Where do you get your inspiration?
Wow. No, because it's such
I know
a
that wasn't on the question
no,
list.
no. It's such a beautiful question. It's life. It's the world. It's us having a soul to soul connection. It's the beautiful people
Right.
that we get to meet every day that either inspire Marla and I, or we get to inspire or uplift or help someone get through something
Right.
maybe they're going through. So it's absolutely day by day. It's the journey, and we say we wake up each day to see what beautiful new souls are brought into our lives
Every day, right?
every day,
I know.
and wake up with gratitude. We
Yeah.
opened our eyes. We have a roof. We have a bed. Think about how many people didn't open their eyes.
No,
or-
I know. We take so much for granted all the time. I
Yes,
mean,
we forget how much we have versus
what we
this
don't
world.
have.
Right. I'm so focused on I need. We
No.
don't realize how blessed we are.
Yeah.
It doesn't-
Totally. I
yeah.
totally agree with you. I try to teach that to my kids all the time. It's like quit worrying about what you don't have and just enjoy what you do have, and just like you say, give gratitude and give joy for what you do have.
So true.
Right?
So true. And it goes back to the beginning of our conversation with regards to what the kids are seeing today with
Right.
the reality TV, and it leaves a big impression and a lot of stress on these kids that that they have to keep up, or
Right.
they're going to look different in someone else's eyes, and that's what we have to take down.
Yeah.
We have to remind them that everyone is beautiful, everyone has beauty within inside of them, and that we should all be helping one another.
Yep. Now, I think our generation, given what you said, we used to ride our bikes out all night long, and I think we do bring a really unique perspective to the world. And as we get older, I think that perspective and that experience is going to really be a guiding light to these kids when they're 30 and 40. Because I think they're going to I don't know. I just think there's a connection that's coming that
Right.
none of us understand yet that's on our way. Does that make sense?
100%, and that's what Marla and I are now doing, which probably is a good segue
Yeah.
of everything with the journey of the.
Well, let's talk about that.
We're going to need a sleepover and a long weekend. I told you
Yeah,
if we
that's
start
all
sharing that
right.
story. Isabel may be like, why is Marla and Scott here another day or two?
Well, I know that
We're moving in.
that I can't. Okay, I know we connected in some way, and I've got my intention stick on right
Yes.
here. So let's talk. Tell me that story.
So I'll give you the short version because I'm not
Yeah.
kidding when I say we'll need 9 hours. So going back just over 8 years ago, it was our 21-year anniversary. And as we just shared, I always get inspired. Like when I'm designing a piece of jewelry and I'm sitting with someone, I get that download. Like, ooh, I just saw your ring or your earring, your net, whatever that may be. I just visualize it. It comes in,
Yep.
right? We
Yep.
receive that energy. And I was just really thinking, what can I do this year for Marla for our anniversary? And I saw the vision of the tree of life. It just popped in. It was like present. And I said, okay. I designed beautiful pendant with just in white gold and diamonds around it. And on the back, it has all 4 of our children's names engraved in Hebrew with the number 21. And I gave that to Marla, and she said, that's it. And I'm like, what? And she says, that's what I waited 21 years for. And I didn't get that at first, and I'm going to have Marla explain.
So what I meant by that was that I was trying to understand for years why Scott and I were brought together in this lifetime. What is it that him and I needed to do for humanity?
Right.
That we were blessed with 4 children and a home and a business. However, what was it that we were going to do for humanity? And when he gifted that to me, that's when I had that aha moment.
Wow.
That I believe 2 souls are brought together in this lifetime for a divine reason and
Yeah.
a bigger purpose. And let me just say that that's not true for everyone, and that's okay, because someone else's purpose might just be smiling at someone, and because you don't know what that person went through.
Right.
But for me, I knew there was something I had to do, and I had been searching why we were walking this path of diamonds and jewelry. I grew up in a home with older parents who were from the Depression era
Mm-hmm.
and who did very well, mind you, however, never showered us with these pieces of jewelry.
Right.
So I was trying to understand why I was walking this path, and I had been searching for it. And so when he gifted that to me, that's when I knew this was it.
You knew that was it. Interesting.
And then that lightning bolt hit me, and we came up with our mantra, changing the world one tree at a time, we become one.
Huh.
Because as we know, there's no black, white, pink, yellow. There's no
Yeah.
Christian, Jewish, Buddhist,
Right.
Muslim. Our souls are the same. We're the same. But this world right now, ego, I'm better, religion, politics,
It's all divisive.
greed, it is so exactly. It
Yeah.
is so divisive, and it's just this whole world is coming from fear versus coming from
Right.
love.
Right. Right.
So when we came up with the mantra, she also surprised me with my bracelet with the tree of life, and on the back she engraved the word in Hebrew, which is Beshert, Bashert, which means it comes from above. Like our meeting today
Yep.
is Beshert.
Yeah.
There's no coincidences. There's
Yeah.
no by chance. There's no randomness in
Right.
life. We're always being guided.
Yeah.
So we decided to start designing different collections with the tree on one side and different causes and charities, not just in Arizona, but nationwide and then globally. And then 3 years ago, we designed a collection for the Pope at the Vatican, helping all the refugee children around the world. So we say here a Jewish family creates a collection for the Pope.
It's pretty neat.
It's not about religion, people.
Right.
It's about humankind.
Right.
And then royal family in Windsor and London heard. We went to the castle and stayed and slept there for 4 days, which was life-changing and miraculous. It was an honor. It was a meeting of shifting consciousness and making change in the world for a better place.
Yeah.
And should I just share the last night they were there? Okay, so because like I said, if we share all the stories, we're never leaving, Mark.
I can have you back. So
I
don't
know,
worry.
it's all good. So the night before last, we were in meetings, which you may have been already, but all the meetings were taking place in Vickers Hall,
Okay.
where Shakespeare performed the
Yep.
first play.
Yep.
So everyone's talking about how to heal the world, and what was interesting, they're talking about the tree of life, but they didn't know it. So I'm bouncing around like, we know what to do. We just launched a collection. And Marla's like, settle down, fifth child.
Calm down.
Breathe.
Over here.
Listen. Exactly. Let everybody talk. You could share at the end.
Okay.
So the night before last, we have a private tour of St. George's Cathedral where all the kings and queens, Prince Harry and
Yep.
Meghan were married. Incredible, 10 o'clock at night. Wow. The architecture, I know
Yeah.
you know. Wow.
Crazy.
At the very end of our tour guide said, I'd love to take you to the side and show you something where we do not take the public. And she brought us to these beautiful double red doors with gold imagery embossed on each door, built in 1540s, give or take. And gold imagery on each door. It's the Queen's private entrance from the castle to the cathedral.
Wow.
What do you think the imagery on the doors were?
The tree of life.
Tree of life on both doors.
Wow.
So we're looking
signs.
up like, we got the
Yeah,
message.
we're getting
I mean,
it.
still every hair on my body stands up from that. So we leave the cathedral. We go back to the oldest home on the castle grounds for a reception. What time do we walk in? 11:11.
No. Wow.
So we're just having relaxing evening, and the gentleman who invited us to the castle came up to Marla and I. He's been bringing groups to the castle since the 70s and reports directly back to the royal family. Came up to Marla and I and said, I'd love to take you aside and share something with you both. And we're like, sure, what's up? I was like, Mark, come here.
Come on over here.
He said to Marla and I, on Sunday when you arrived, I saw you get out of your car, because you don't just Uber up to the castle
Yeah.
and schlep your bags
Right.
up to the castle. I saw you arrive and get out of the car, and you were surrounded by this beautiful bubble of white light.
Wow.
Which really took us back because, one, we're not judged. Who are we to look at someone and say, you don't look spiritual enough or you don't look religious enough? Why? Because I'm dressed or look a certain way. But it
Right.
just, wow, took us
Yep.
back. And we said, thank you. And he says to Marla and I last night, I had a vision of your tree. And your tree encompassed the entire world. And underneath your tree, I saw hundreds of thousands of these beautiful white tents representing every person, every cause, every religion, everyone. And he then says, this is not a Tree of Life foundation you started. It's a Tree of Life movement.
Mm-hmm.
It is much bigger than you possibly could have ever dreamt or imagined. So we're looking at each other like, holy shift, because we knew we knew in our hearts we were doing something right. And when you listen to your heart, but not of that magnitude. So that was that aha moment of, wow, our journey is just beginning.
Right.
And I'll share just briefly, because it's a beautiful segue shortly, but the next day, the last day, we're back in Round Circle and meeting, and that gentleman said to Marla, I think Marla has something to share with the group, and Marla says, no, 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 I think Scott has something to share, because if he doesn't get it out, his head's going to explode. Don't forget, I'm sitting there quietly now for 3 days,
right,
without really chiming in.
You're just holding it all in.
I was holding it all in, which was very not easy for me.
Yeah.
So I said thank you to Marla, and I started talking about what we did the month before for the Pope's collection. It's about unifying. It's about bringing this world back. It's not about religion. It's
humanity.
I started talking about the spiritual meaning of the tree of life, which is not a religious symbol. It's in every spiritual and religious or culture in the world, which really is the blueprint of our soul. It's, we say, the evolution of consciousness, right? Roots, subconscious, conscious, and growing to the heavens above. And as Marla and I share, it's not being better than anyone else in this world. It's being better than who we were yesterday.
Yeah.
We're here to grow.
Yeah.
And I start talking about, which you know, laws of attraction, right? What we think about, we bring about. What goes up comes down. But what we put out from our hearts comes back in. It's actually science. It's the third law of physics, law of motion.
Yep.
So if we're putting out kindness and love and only more comes back in. If we're putting out worry, stress, fearing, only
hate
comes, only more comes back in. And I said, as I'm holding my intention stick right now, I said, which leads us to this. So this goes back 4 years ago. In morning meditation, I had a vision of a tube. And I'm like, okay, it's a tube. It's not this beautiful masterpiece. It's not a ring. It's a tube. I'm just, pushed it off.
Just letting it roll.
Let it roll. A month later, I'm in morning meditation, and I saw our tree being wrapped around the tube. And I'm like, okay, something's going on. I come running out. I tell Marla, okay, wow, something's going on. And at the same time, we started seeing the same words. When I say that, again, that download, when we close our eyes and we're present,
right,
not the monkey mind, we receive so much. So we ended up receiving the same 22 words, 22 intentions to place inside
the tube,
inside the intention stick.
Yeah.
And 22, by the way, is 1111.
Yep. There you go.
Angels, validation. Yep. So
the time you walked into that room.
It was, I don't know, should I read the words or?
Yeah, read them.
Okay, hold on. Here.
You got them?
Yes.
And later to find out, after the fact, that there are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. There are 22 pyramids. 3 are only visible, but there are 22 pyramids. There are 22 steps to the ascension of the Tree of Life in Kabbalah. And our anniversary is the 22nd. But we could keep going with 22, and we didn't find this out till after.
It's, again, no coincidences. And I'll read these words. And what we share is to choose 3 words to place inside.
Right.
Believe, faith, gratitude, mindful, be, let it be, love, light, blessed, peace, kindness, compassion, success, knowledge, trust, spiritual, happiness, courage, laugh and joy, inspire, consciousness. And we say the 2 most important, even though these are all important, health and oneness. And that goes actually back to Marla's vision about 4 years ago. So.
Yes, that we would all insert the word oneness together at the same time. And this would all be a spirit of one, and that, like a beautiful tsunami,
right,
that we would all do this together.
Right, and that energy would be the tsunami.
Right, that we would all choose that one word to place inside at the same time. As Marla and I say, we don't need to die or transition to go to heaven. It's all around us. It's everywhere we are.
Yeah.
But it's
we
also,
make our heaven.
Yes, it's within us all. But again, as we said earlier, everyone chooses to see I'm better, and the politics, the religion, the greed, the power, and we're all the same.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that is the tree of life. And
Yep.
as you know, what's taken place in over 2.5 years with this sweeping the world right now, the tens and thousands of stories taking place, it is, Mark, it's been miraculous. From simple people shifting consciousness, people filling themselves back up with what they've been so depleted of.
Right.
People letting go of things they've been holding on to their whole lives.
Yep.
And as you and I and Marla witnessed, pain and sickness leaving someone's body and understanding what caused that sickness. And that's how we really met.
Right.
That miraculous Sunday morning.
Yeah. Was it a Sunday
It
morning?
was a Sunday morning. And do you remember how that took place?
I don't remember. I was trying to remember.
So Friday, this, again, talk about being divinely guided.
It was one of my clients, right?
Well, yes. And this was someone.
Yeah, okay. I remember.
So this is Friday afternoon. Marla and I are at the office, and our doorbell rings, and no one just walks in. And a little bit older couple says, we're here from one of the insurance companies. I lost something. Can we come in? And Marla and I are like, okay. There wasn't anyone there at the time. And really sweet couple, and no problem. Half hour went by, and she looks over at my wrist, and she says, is that the tree of life on my bracelet? And I said, yes. And she says, I've always been infatuated with trees and the tree of life since I've been a little girl. So Marla and I look at each other like, you're not here for insurance replacement. You're here because you were divinely guided.
Right.
And we start telling the story, and she's crying because it's already hitting her soul. And he's like, ooh, I'm going to win the lotto.
Sounds like him.
I'm going to win, the skeptic, which is okay. Because what do you say, Marla?
I always say that we don't have enough information to be a skeptic, right?
I
Just
love
because we can't see it or hear it or touch it doesn't mean it's not happening.
The Wi-Fi exists.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Exactly. So Marla and I said, we need to gift 2 of the intention sticks to these beautiful souls. And again, she gets it. She chose her first 3 words. I put it on. She's crying. And again, he chose. Well, I'm backing up a step. We're talking about, one of the stories that pain in our bodies is a gift. It's a message. Why are we receiving, certain pain, knee, blah, blah, blah. And, again, she got it. He was like, he's listening, but he's pretending not to pay attention, because a few minutes later he says to Marla, I am having some lower back pain and I am having some pain in my knee. So he's listening. He just doesn't want to, he's pretending not to. So he chose his words. We put the intention sticks around their necks, and it was, wow, you could just see them and feel them filling back up, and they leave. The next morning, I get a email, not from her, but from him, that started off, wow, 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 you're not going to believe what happened. And I didn't even read the letter. I called him. I said, okay, what's going on? He says, I left your office, my wife and I. Now, mind you, it should have been a 30-minute meeting.
Right.
They were there for over 2 hours.
Wow.
He says, we left your office. We got off on the first floor. And as we're walking out, our friend Mark is walking into the elevator. And Mark says, meaning you, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah.
And
that part I remember.
Yeah, they said, I was up visiting Scott and Marla up on the floor about some jewelry. And you said, oh, my goodness, they are the nicest people. And she says to you, how's Isabel?
Right.
And you said she's finishing her second to last treatment in chemo.
Okay.
And she says to you, oh my goodness, you need to go talk to Scott and Marla. You called me that afternoon and said, can we come see you? And I said, yes. And we made it a point to have you guys come in as soon as possible, which we never do. You and Isabel came in Sunday morning at 11 o'clock.
Yep. That's all coming back to
I
me
know.
now. And that whole period was
I know.
A blur.
Very heavy. Yeah. Very heavy. And Marla and I are sharing the stories with you. And you both, we did the blessings, as you know, for the intention sticks, and you both chose your words to place inside. And as we placed the intention stick around Isabel's neck and your neck, and we sat back down, Isabel said to us, "I'm healed." You literally watched the pain and sickness leave her body. Mark, it was one of the most miraculous stories, and it's still very heavy.
Her story doesn't even that story doesn't even end there.
No.
Because from there, that spiraled into other miracles of actually a doctor calling us. Did Scott share that with you?
You're gonna be blown away.
Well, I'll make it shorter than you do. So the gist of the story is that we got a phone call, a message from a doctor saying that I've heard about this intention stick, and if possible, I'd love to come in and learn more about it. So it was Christmas, and of course, we called back. We were working, Jews.
It's a busy day.
It's Chinese food and a movie is usually what we do. So we reached the doctor, and she says, "I'm in the area." And we said, "Well, come on in because we're here." So she came in. She starts sharing with us how she found out about the intention stick. She was so moved by it. She said she has this patient and a month ago, and the patient was very down, a little bit dark, and didn't have the optimism that she would have liked to have seen. And she says, and I just saw her this week, and my goodness, she's a changed person. She's optimistic. She's bright. She's cheery. She's alive. And she says, what's going on? And she says, she takes off the intention stick and she empties out her intentions, the words from the intention stick, and she starts explaining to the doctor how she's using this. And she says to us, the person was Isabel.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing.
And the doctor was so taken by the change that she saw.
I don't know if Isabel knows the story.
She was so taken that she purchased a bunch of them to give out.
Wow. Interesting.
And because of that, talk about the journey. Now we're working with doctors around the world and oncologists and every type of sickness and therapist and opioid and suicide and drinking and children from 4 years of age to adults.
It's beautiful.
It's at 90 years of old saying to Marla and I, after receiving this, we still have so much more we need to do.
Yeah. It's endless, isn't it?
It is.
And actually, because of Isabel's story, we actually then were put together with the Chopra Center.
Wow.
Yeah, and talk about
isn't it
journey.
Interesting how the energy flows and moves, and
all of the beautiful souls are coming together when they should. And what I think something really important. How are we on time to share a little?
We're good. We got about 15 minutes.
Okay, so I think this is so important because of what we were all talking about earlier about the children. So for about a year, we've been working on something for all of the at-risk children around the world. This actually no one knows about. I mean, we're almost announcing this for the first time right now. Truly, it went live on our website Thursday to give you an idea.
Wow, very timely.
So I'm going to briefly share what vision you had about a year ago. So why don't you share that?
So about 10 months ago, I had a vision of this little girl came to me, and she was in Africa, and I saw her. She was sleeping on the floor, and she was getting up, going place to place, sleeping on the floor. And I knew she needed help, and mostly she needed an intention stick. And she needed that to remind her that she's loved and she has purpose and she matters. And to have this tool in her hand to know that she can overcome her circumstance.
Right.
And so when I shared the story with Scott in the morning of the vision that I had of this little girl, I knew it wasn't practical for me to get on a plane and go to Africa, but I knew we needed to find her. So again, Mark, we love these stories. Our friend was coming over to pick up a bunch of intention sticks to bring with her. She was leaving for Dubai. She's a teacher and a healer and wanted to give these out. So I shared the story with her, and she says, well, you're never going to believe this, but on my way back from Dubai, I'm going to visit an orphanage in Africa.
Wow. There it
So
is.
so there it is. And so Scott and I looked at each other, and we do intention blessings on every intention stick before anyone ever receives it. It's like having that last number to the
Yep,
phone number.
yep.
It just connects you. So we did a blessing on an intention stick, and we gave it to our friend, and we said, take this with you. We know you'll find the girl. You'll know who this belongs to when you see her. So she came back and shared the story with us and said how that she visited the orphanage, and unfortunately, the woman who runs the orphanage had purchased 50 new mattresses and pillows, left on a few days of business, came back, and they were all stolen, and the kids were sleeping on the floor. So she reaches into her purse. She wants to give money to the kids. She wants to do something. They're telling her, no, you cannot do that because it'll get stolen and
Right.
used for the wrong reasons. So I have to find the little girl to give her this intention stick, and they're saying the same thing. They're going to have eyes on this child. So she leaves the orphanage, and right outside the orphanage, she sees a little girl hanging out. It must be about 12 years old, approaches the little girl, starts talking with her. The little girl says that the parents have left her, and she's left to take care of her siblings, her little siblings. So our friend says, this is the little girl. This is the little girl who needs this intention stick to remind her of who she is and her purpose and that she's loved.
Right.
So, by the way, right after that, our friend sees another little girl, talks to her, same exact story, and thinks to take hers off and puts it on the little girl because she didn't have any more intention sticks with her. So when she shares a story with us, we start strategizing of we need to get an intention stick to every child on this planet.
Wow.
Right, as the connection and tool that they know
Yep.
that they can overcome their circumstance.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So when we started talking about this, we said we need to come up with a recyclable, something that wouldn't put these kids at risk.
Right.
Right. That to see this or be perceived
Right.
of value.
Right.
Because
the value doesn't matter.
The value doesn't matter.
The
but
monetary value is meaningless.
No, because it becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
Actually, we say has its own heartbeat.
Yeah.
It becomes a part of who you are. But unfortunately, if someone doesn't know about it, they might perceive it
Right.
as having value, and we wouldn't want anyone to be in danger.
Right.
So we obviously got pushback. Here we wanted to help clean the oceans. The plastics you already know,
Yeah, yep.
horrific. But come to find out, recycling plastic, one, isn't perfect, but two, ended up being more expensive than making a brand new stainless one for $59.99. Right. We're like, are you kidding me? Here we're trying to do something good besides planting trees around the world with each one of these.
Right.
Here, sorry, it's not going to work. So we knew it was a test, and we did trial and error, and we figured out to use silicon, not silicone, silicon, the seventh most abundant material on the planet.
Yep.
And it's recyclable, and it's sand-based.
Right.
And we had this vision that it should be this beautiful, pure white vessel to represent the soul, that child, that person, that it couldn't be, as Marla said, shiny or flashy, but just very subtle.
Right.
And it's another story for the interview, but as we saw the 5999, the spiritual meaning behind those numbers and why the stainless intention sticks are $59.99, we started seeing 1899 everywhere. Remember Bruce Almighty, Jim Carrey? He's like, show me one sign, just one. They're always in front of us. Our cell phone license plate, they're there.
Right.
So, as you know, the 99 cents plants a tree for every one of the intention sticks that are sold or donated. 18 in Judaism is represented, the number 18 represents life. You've been to a bar mitzvah or a wedding and someone says l'chaim, which means to life. So 1899, but when you read Hebrew from right to left. 9918 spelled tree of life.
Wow, interesting.
So we said, that's it. We made every one of the intention sticks for the children, or all of the at-risk children, $18.99, which is unheard of. Still planting a tree in that person or child's honor. But it really hit us Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm talking like, would you use the word outrage? Which I'm going to share.
Well, Mark, what what came to us was that we are human beings and that we must nurture our soul, the spirit of our soul. We must nurture that. That we see what's going on in the world and that people are not loving themselves,
Right.
not out of vanity
Right.
or selfishness, but to truly love.
It starts right here.
Yes.
Yep.
And so what we said was, at what point did someone say giving ended with food? At what point did someone say giving ended with a pair of socks?
Right.
We need to help our children, especially, and teach them to look within inside of themselves and to love and nurture their souls.
Yeah, I love that.
Their spirit.
Totally.
And if they can meditate and set their intentions with these beautiful words that we received, that we can eradicate violence, we can eradicate bullying, we can eradicate crime, we can eradicate even war.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It all starts right there in your soul.
And
totally believe that.
We're so excited. I mean, I know this sounds interesting, but this just went live. I said on Thursday on the website. We formed its TOLM, Tree of Life Movement Foundation page. We set up a 501c3, so everything is going for the right cause, still planting a tree, and where people can help. And how are we on time? Because
we're close
We're
now.
close.
Yeah.
So what I'll not end with, because I know we'll be back 9,000 more times. But
absolutely, I love you guys.
We love you.
Yeah.
And what this is allowing, not just a child, but a person, what you just said, to start working on repairing themselves from the inside out, to see that they are perfect just how they are. We do not need to be anyone other than who we are. I already know you know. I am that I am. But to allow a person to see their truth, who they are, to speak their truth, and understand why we've been given all of our gifts, our tools, whether it's knowledge, abundance, design, whatever that making coffee.
Right.
It's to help another person. It's to touch another soul. And when we can experience that, I promise you, that's what brings us our bliss and our happiness.
No, I think you're right on target. I've been saying it through these podcasts in different ways, but you hit it totally on the head. I think it does begin with us.
Yes.
How can we share love if we don't even love ourselves?
Yes. This world, Mark, does not know. We can't blame parents, grandparents. They did the best they could to raise us. This world does not know unconditional love. To truly say, I love you to yourself, to look in the mirror, not out of ego or vanity, but to truly love who we are, because then we can love another person. If we don't have love for ourselves, how can we love? So if I say Mark or Isabel, I love you, you know it's true. It's not, oh, I love you, kiss, kiss. It's the most difficult thing to achieve in this lifetime. The second is forgiveness.
Totally
And
agree.
this is why we're seeing what's taking place, because everyone in this world right now is going through something. And if they're not, they're lying. And I'm not saying that to be mean or judgmental.
No, it's true.
If we don't learn, as hard as it may be, to forgive and let that go and send it with love, those things turn into thoughts. The thoughts turn into sickness. The sickness turns into disease. But they abused me, they hurt me, they screwed me out of a business deal, they cut me off on the road.
And carry that bag around.
We have to
get rid of that.
Stop pushing it down. You're not fine. We're human. But I can tell you, everything in our lives has happened for us, and it's a gift, and it brings us to the next place in our lives, and it makes us who we are today.
Totally.
It's a gift.
And I think so many people are carrying these bags of anger and hatred and from things that happened 10 years ago. It's like, why are you carrying all that?
Right.
Let it go.
Let it go. It no longer serves you.
Look at all of this in front of you that is beautiful if you just allow it to come in. But you're not, because you're all encumbered with these bags of hatred and negativity.
Yes, and people will continue to see that until they can learn, like Scott said, that we are all born with broken vessels. We come into this life with broken vessels. And the point is, with regards to the Tree of Life and how this all connects, is that we are all born with that blueprint.
Right.
but we just forget to activate that blueprint of the tree of life.
Yeah.
That those broken vessels are here. That's exactly where the light is going to shine when you awaken and understand why something had to happen to you,
Right.
whether it's something small or something big. When you
Yeah.
can receive it and understand,
Totally.
then that's where the light's going to shine through.
Right. Well, God bless both of you. I mean, you both do so many nice things for so many people, and I just encourage you guys to never stop. Please never stop.
We truly know this. Thank you, by the way. This is our purpose. We know our whole platform. Again, as Marla says, through our business,
Yep.
we found our purpose.
Right.
And this is what we know we were brought here to do, to now go from city to city, state to state, country to country, to allow every man, woman, and child to receive an intention stick so we do come back together as
Yeah.
one. And in the Talmud it says, when you save one soul, you save the world entirely.
Yeah.
We are all connected, and I
Love
know I
that.
shared this with you. I'll leave you on this higher wow, but it's an ancient Greek proverb that says a society grows great when old men plant trees in which they know the shade they will never sit in.
Right. I've heard that. It's a beautiful saying. It's the
for
truth.
our children, our grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren
Yep.
to grow up living a life of intention, to see everyone the same, to live with light and love and
Yeah.
peace and harmony and
And plant the seeds of beauty. And
Yes.
plant the seeds of love. And plant
yes.
goodness. And it doesn't, everyone's always looking for these monumental acts.
No.
It's the little tiniest acts that turn into these seeds of giant trees.
Ask someone when you're in the elevator, how are you? At a checkout counter, smile, open the door. Again, we don't need to part the Red Sea.
That's exactly
It's
how
a
I try to do
simple
my day.
act of kindness, and you, as Marla said, you never know what someone is
Right.
going through, and when you can just acknowledge another human being to say, hi, how are you, but mean it,
Yeah. It's beautiful.
wow.
Yeah. I wake up every morning and I've started a game with I love little games. So I have the kindness game, and I keep track of my kindness score every day. How many kindness can I, how many little acts of kindness can I do every day? Oh, today was 25. That was a good day. Or
Wow.
whatever.
That's amazing, Mark. And one of the questions we challenge our kids is, what have you done for humanity today?
Right.
At dinner,
Yeah.
ask your kid, what have you done today?
Yeah.
And it's important, and that's why we say live with intention.
Sure.
Why this intention stick is so important, because people are waking up in the morning, having their breakfast.
Right.
They're going to work, coming home, and they're doing the same thing every day, and they don't know why.
Right.
And so we say, if it's like getting into your car and driving without a destination.
Right.
If you're living without intention, it's where are you going?
Exactly.
And how do you know what you want when you get there?
Right. That's exactly right. Everyone has the same 24 hours every day. And it's like, okay, how much of that 24 hours, how much of every hour, how much of every minute can I fill with positivity, kindness, love that occupies that time, so I don't even have time to think about the other stuff. It's just
Exactly.
like my focus, my intention is in this spot right here.
And this is what also the world does not realize, that everything is perfect just as it is. They're worrying about, oh my goodness, they're having a meeting, they're not even being present, but I have to hurry up because there's something more important in 5 minutes or 30 minutes, and I'm rushing, and they're not even
moment.
understanding the miracle taking place of why
Right.
you were brought together, and it's again perfect just as it is. We can't change our past.
Right.
We cannot know about tomorrow.
Nope. Only right
Be
now.
in the now and be grateful, because as much as I love that, your game, that was today, and that day now, it's already in the past.
Yeah.
What are we going to do when
Today.
we wake up today
Right.
and impact this world? And we're doing it. We're not talking about it. We're
Yeah, you gotta do
doing
it.
it. It's about us collectively. It's
Right.
not about Marla and I or you.
Right.
This, as I told you and Isabel, you are as important to this Tree of Life movement as Marla and I, because it is about us collectively, and it's just so important. We cannot witness turning on the TV and seeing what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Our children should
I
not
don't even
be-
watch it.
We don't either. It's pure toxicity. It doesn't matter what's going. It just sucks
No.
the light and love out of
Totally.
you.
Totally.
So-
So how do we find you guys? What's your website?
Oh my goodness, thank you. That is so kind. So for, of course, jewelry, it's completely separate. It's Addison Taylor Fine Jewelry.com.
Okay.
And we keep it very minimalistic because the creations that we design, I don't want something, oh, I'm going to copy that.
Right.
You get that.
It's like our houses.
Exactly. It's very personal. So
Right.
when someone says, send me an I'm like, no, it's not who we are.
Right.
And then for Tree of Life, it's treeoflifemovement.com or treeoflifemovement.org, which brings you into intentionstick.org. And there's so many beautiful stories. And by the way, this has nothing to do with a piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
We say it's worn on the inside for your heart and soul. It's that
Right.
tool, that reminder that brings us home when we're tested, because the more good we all do, the harder we're tested.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for allowing us
you
to
guys are
share
both
this.
beautiful people.
What, honey? Oh, yeah, we're
Yeah,
on
there you go.
Facebook under Tree of Life Movement. We're under, on Instagram, it's tree_of_life_movement. Sorry, that's a long one, guys. But
We'll put them all on the story.
but
on the
it's
podcast
just
too.
what's taking place is truly miraculous and divine. So
Yeah.
we're so
Well,
grateful to be
Isabel's
here.
story is a classic example of
Wow.
that. I mean, after that period, her surgery was right around Christmas.
Yes.
Then she did 33 radiation treatments. Survived all of that, and I'm happy to say here we are, 2 or 3 years later, and she's got a clean bill of health and
Thank God.
lives life with full intention.
Yes,
believe
and
me. So,
we're with you both every day. I know you know that.
I love you guys.
We love you just as much.
It is
Yes,
amazing.
it will be with us forever. Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you,
us,
you
Mark.
guys.
What a pleasure.
All right, keep doing your great work. I love it.
Thank you.
Wow, what a fantastic podcast there by Scott and Marla Berger. I tell you what, I just love those guys. Their energy is so positive, and they're doing just so much to truly inspire living, heal people, and their heart and soul is totally into everything that they do, and their work shows it. And they're just amazing people to be around. I tell you what, the world can't have enough Scott and Marla Bergers. They're just fabulous people. So anyway, it was really fun to sit and talk to them and learn more about them. Like I said, I see them passing in the night all the time in the elevator, and it's just so cool to actually sit down and go deep with them, because we could have gone for 2 hours easily. So a lot of fun, and just neat people. So anyway, I want to wish everyone a great week this week. We're winding up February already, and I can't believe it. I mean, this year is just absolutely cruising. We've had some fun times in February, though. We just had our 2016 Italy travelers over for dinner on Saturday night. And boy, did we have a good time. I hadn't seen some of those people in some time. And what was amazing was, 3 of the people on the trip, including my Isabel, battled cancer over the course of time since 2016 to where we are today. And another one has been kind of battling it ongoing. So, that's been happening. And then 2 others had heart attacks in that period of time. And we were all there at the party. We were all there at the party Saturday night and enjoying life and enjoying the good time. And as my post on social media this weekend said, what matters is right now, you guys. I mean, there's no telling what's ahead in the future. You got this whole coronavirus thing. I see the stock market's ready to drop about 700 points today. I've got friends in Italy that are messaging me last night that the coronavirus is now in Italy. And not to alarm anybody. I mean, the flu's everywhere every year also, and people die from that every year too. And this is just another version of the flu. It's just we don't know anything about it, so we're all freaking out. But it's just another reminder of how fragile life is and how we just need to, enjoy life, enjoy each other, be kind to each other. That's why I love the intention stick that Scott and Marla gave me several years ago. It's just a reminder. It hangs on my neck. I feel it, and it just tells me, you know what? Let's be in the moment. Let's be now. Let's enjoy life. Let's spread kindness every day. So I invite you to do the same. I invite you to be in the now, be present, do good things. I mean, if we all just do a little bit in that direction, think of where the world will go. So I wish you all a great week, and I hope it's filled fully with inspiring living. I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. The Stockett team, along with so many others, are coming really close to the finish line in our demonstration kitchen and our new expansion of our Candelaria design offices. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on some amazing projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with, dined with, and just had good times both personally and professionally with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next kitchen, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.